The following program is made possible by supporters and friends of Biblical Foundations Academy International.
One of the things I absolutely love to do is to walk in the land of Israel with my Bible opened. The places that stare you right in the face are everywhere, if you're willing to slow down and take a closer look. Many of these important sites have been discovered by archaeologists who had a shovel in one hand and their Bible in the other, with a willingness to walk wherever they were led. Unfortunately, on my recent trip to Israel, I was hindered from doing much walking. But fortunately, I had two friends who were ready, willing, and able to walk for me as I kept my eyes open and they kept my camera rolling. This place we stopped at caused us to slow down and take a closer look. And I want to invite you to stop and take a look with us. So grab your Bible and we will let the archaeologists do the digging, Matt and Noam do the walking, and filming while we do the studying. Welcome, my friends. Keith Johnson of Biblical Foundations Academy International. This is our in-depth Bible study called Lachish Unleashed. I got to give you guys a secret. While our cameraman Matthew and our CTO, a tour guide Noam were up the other place, I was by my wheelchair. Why was I in my wheelchair? Folks, as you can see, I'm a little bit limited. But when they weren't looking, I hobbled to the top of this particular Assyrian ramp, and what's up there is amazing. So what we're going to do is we're going to crack open this Bible. We're going to use a little language. We're going to use a little history. We're going to use a little bit of context. And I'm going to help you understand why this is such a significant place. When people get a chance to see the Bible, excuse me, folks, as you can see, it's not, when they see the Bible, and then you can also see historical documents, you can see artifacts, you can see archaeology, and then you can see what I'm calling HD 3D stone relief of what happened here. It's just amazing. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take step by step, verse by verse, and see if we can't have a full and complete Bible study on what I'm calling Lachish Unleashed. Before we get too far into this study, there has been a recent discovery of an ancient artifact that I have to show you. But first, a little biblical context. In 2 Kings chapter 16, 7, and 8, it says this: So Ahaz sent messengers to Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, saying, I am your servant and your son. Come up and deliver me from the hand of the king of Aram and from the hand of the king of Israel, who are rising up against me. Ahaz took the silver and gold that was found in the house of the Lord and in the treasuries of the king's house, and sent a present to the king of Assyria. King Ahaz's son, King Hezekiah, decided to stop this practice of paying tribute to Assyrian kings. Specifically, he rebelled against King Sennacherib, who was the grandson of Tiglath-Pileser. In 2 Kings 18, it says this: Now it came about in the 3rd year of Hoshea, the son of Elah, king of Israel, that Hezekiah, the son of Ahaz, king of Judah, became king. Verse 6, For he clung to the Lord, he did not depart from following him, but kept his commandments which the Lord had commanded Moses. And the Lord was with him wherever he went, he prospered. And he rebelled against the king of Assyria and did not serve him. Now for the exciting find that is related to our study. This discovery was announced 2 weeks after I returned from my trip to Israel.
For the first time, we have here evidence of a rare royal correspondence between the king of Assyria and the kings of Judah.
Excitement on a level I can't remember ever experiencing in my life, really. The only thing we were missing was text.
We are at an excavation conducted by the Israel Antiquities Authority, funded by the city of David. And we are actually located on the main axis of the drainage channel. At the end of the channel, right here, just behind these stones, that inscription was discovered.
Suddenly, I see this piece of pottery. And at first, it looked like it had a special decoration on it, and it seemed familiar to me. I said, this looks like cuneiform script. It was incredibly exciting.
The Assyrian cuneiform tablet fragment from the Iron Age tells us a story about a delay in paying tribute, and perhaps describes a point of friction between the kingdom of Judah and the great Assyrian Empire.
And here we actually have a direct letter, signed with the seal of the king of Assyria, addressed to the king of Judah, saying to him, Dear king of Judah, send the tribute quickly by the 1st of Av, and if not, the consequences will be severe.
The composition of the bulla generally matches the components of the minerals and rocks in the Tigris Basin, and therefore the bulla most likely arrived here in Jerusalem as an official document from one of the Assyrian centers.
We, as researchers, as archaeologists, as historians, always work in a constant fog. There aren't many cases where a spotlight shines for us, where we are able to connect the biblical narrative to historical sources and to the archaeology of Jerusalem and the land of Israel in such a strong way.
Well, my friends, the spotlight is shining on the Bible, archaeology, and history at this stunning site. The threat of Sennacherib, the king of Assyria, against Hezekiah, the king of Judah, came to pass, and the rocks are crying out right here at Lachish. Though the details of this battle within the pages of Scripture are scarce, King Sennacherib provides a blow-by-blow account on a huge stone relief that brings this story into what seems like ancient HD TV. Let's go inside the Lachish Visitor Center to take a peek. It has been 2 years that I've been waiting to come to this place, and I thought, how will we get here? Just call Noam at CTO, and he'll make it happen. We are here. I was at the British Museum, and the room where this original relief exists has been closed. In fact, it's even under construction today. But I thought to myself, if there was a way we could get to Israel and we could get to Lachish, we would do a special we call Lachish Unleashed. And I'm telling you folks, that is exactly what's happening. You have here the Assyrian army. But did I tell you this? This is like the Bible in 3D, HD TV. Sennacherib commissioned this relief to be etched in stone to show his victory at this place. Now, I didn't say anything about this, but there are 22 verses that talk about Lachish in the Bible. I just want to talk about a couple. When Sennacherib came, it shows here his soldiers. They're on their way. And as the soldiers get here, they build these ramps. And these ramps are going to go up to the city of Lachish, and you see these things that are coming down. These are the defense of the people of Lachish throwing down everything they can to try to stop them from getting into the city. But guess what they do? They keep battering, and they keep battering, and they keep battering, and they're able to get into the city. And you know what happens once an Assyrian army gets into a city? It is not just we're going to take over. They're going to destroy them. They're going to do things. The Assyrian army were barbarians. That's really what they were. And what this relief shows, it shows that they have captives, and the captives are being taken. And you can see here, the captives are being taken, and they're going along. But that's not all. This is something that absolutely, I can't even tell you how, when I first saw this, this is them taking the soldiers from Israel and flailing them, like taking their skin off. They have these images of them doing things. Here, look at this. Look at this, folks. This is the Assyrian army cutting off the head of an Israeli soldier. They didn't care about anything. There were no rules. There were no regulations. This man, Sennacherib, said, when you get there, completely destroy them. It doesn't sound unlike what happened. I have to say this. You're looking at what happened in 700 BC of what they did to the people. I look at this and I think about what's happened on October 7th, what Hamas did. They did things that are unspeakable in the spirit of the Syrians. Then as they get them all the way there, they've got the people coming, women and children and people, and they get there, and then they have them come and stand before Sennacherib on his throne. And up here, this is in his language. He talks about what he did in Lachish. And they come and they bow down. I have to tell you, we're going to go out and take a look. This is what's so amazing. We're going to now go outside and see what it was that was the basis for this stone relief. We're going to go and see the ramp. We're going to go and see the places, the basis of what happened. I don't know if there's another place. And you know, Noam, I have to tell you something. Noam, for the last few years, said, maybe we should go to Lachish. I'm like, what the Lachish? It's stones, it's rocks. He was right again. And now we're here, and we want to take you to see for yourself. The Bible in HD TV on a stone relief, and it shows it in the pages of the book. It shows it even, guess what I saw at the British Museum? An actual prism, they call it the Taylor's Prism, where Sennacherib talks about what he did in Lachish. It matches the Bible word for word. Absolutely amazing. I have to admit, it was humbling and sometimes a bit embarrassing to have to be wheeled around in Israel. This time, however, it ended up being a perfect way to show you this amazing archaeological site while sitting and filming, as Noam did the heavy work of wheeling me up this hill. Second Kings 18 says this, "Now in the 14th year of King Hezekiah, Sennacherib king of Assyria came up against all the fortified cities of Judah and seized them. Then Hezekiah king of Judah sent to the king of Assyria at Lachish, saying, I have done wrong. Withdraw from me. Whatever you impose on me, I will bear. So the king of Assyria required of Hezekiah king of Judah 300 talents of silver and 30 talents of gold. Hezekiah gave him all the silver which was found in the house of the Lord and in the treasuries of the king's house. At that time, Hezekiah cut off the gold from the doors of the temple of the Lord and from the doorposts which Hezekiah king of Judah had overlaid, and gave it to the king of Assyria." Beyond the fact that Hezekiah followed in his father's footsteps by taking gold from the temple to pay Sennacherib off, is that the amount of gold matches the same amount on what is called the Taylor Prism. I was mesmerized standing in front of this ancient baked brick artifact that was discovered at Nineveh and is presently inside a display case at the British Museum in London. It states, "Fear of my greatness terrified Hezekiah. He sent to me tribute, 30 talents of gold, 800 talents of silver, precious stones, ivory, and all sorts of gifts." In episode 10 of our Biblical Iraq Unpacked series titled The Resurrection of Nineveh, I said that I would do my best to get to Lachish to fill in some gaps from my visit to ancient Nineveh. Okay, so it took over a year and a half to be able to keep my promise. But my friends, we are here. Now back to the Bible. In preparation for King Sennacherib's anticipated assault on Jerusalem, Hezekiah decides to protect the water source of Jerusalem by digging a tunnel to divert the water from outside the city to within the city walls. 2 Chronicles chapter 32:1 says this, "After these acts of faithfulness, the Sennacherib king of Assyria came and invaded Judah and besieged the fortified cities, and thought to break into them for himself. Now when Hezekiah saw that Sennacherib had come and that he intended to make war on Jerusalem, he decided with his officers and his warriors to cut off the supply of water from the springs which were outside the city, and they helped him. So many people assembled and stopped up all the springs and the stream which flowed through the region, saying, 'Why should the king of Assyria come and find abundant water?' A week before I arrived in Jerusalem, there was an inauguration ceremony of the Pilgrim's Path in Jerusalem where Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu told a story that is directly related to our study. Take a look and a listen.
In 1998, I hosted the Prime Minister of Turkey. His name was Yilmaz. We had wonderful relations with Turkey at the time. They've not withstood this test of time. But at the time, they were very good. And after a wonderful dinner, at the Prime Minister's residence, we had coffee in the living room. And I said, "Prime Minister, I have a favor to ask you." And he said, "Yes, go ahead." And I said, there is a tablet, a stone tablet in Hebrew that was found in the tunnel that we have just, it's right here, that was dug 2,700 years ago by King Hezekiah. That's 300 years after King David. And it marks the place where two teams of diggers met, just as was described here, two teams of archaeological workers. They met when they dug this channel underneath Jerusalem to connect it to the water source and the pool of Siloam. It would be completely underground, safe from enemies. And when the two teams heard one another, they started digging towards each other, and at the place where they met and completed the tunnel, they put this tablet in Hebrew, the Bible speaking to us, because that channel, the digging of that channel, is described in the Bible. And here we see that in biblical Hebrew, perhaps except the Dead Sea Scrolls, the most important archaeological discovery in Israel. And I said, look, I have a proposal for you. You know, we have thousands of Ottoman artifacts in our museums. Choose any one you want. You can get it. It's yours. And let's do an exchange. But he said, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that. And I said, well, take all the artifacts in our museums. And he said, no, I can't do that. And I said, well, name your price. And he said, Prime Minister Netanyahu, there is no price. And I said, why? He said, well, there is a growing Islamist constituency headed by the then mayor of Istanbul, you know his name. And there would be outrage from this section of the Turkish people that we would give Israel a tablet that would show that Jerusalem was a Jewish city 2,700 years ago.
The Taylor Prism I mentioned also says this: as for the king of Judah, Hezekiah, who had not submitted to my authority, I besieged and captured 46 of his fortified cities, along with many smaller towns taken in battle with my battering rams. I took as plunder 200,150 people, both small and great, male and female, along with a great number of animals, including horses, mules, donkeys, camels, oxen, and sheep. This parallels a passage in 2 Kings 18:13. Now in the 14th year of King Hezekiah, Sennacherib, king of Assyria, came up against all the fortified cities of Judah and seized them. As Matthew and Noam went to get some video of the ruins of Lachish, I escaped from my wheelchair and hobbled further up the hill to the top. I imagined the people of Lachish looking down the siege ramp, swarming with Assyrian soldiers advancing behind their battering rams. I wondered what it felt like to know that there was no stopping the horde of bloodthirsty Assyrian soldiers who had the worst of intentions in mind once they would eventually break through the defenses of Lachish. Lachish is indeed one of the many amazing sites in Israel that begs for guys like me to slow down and take a closer look. For example, there was discovered the Lachish letters that were based on military correspondence during the siege of Lachish by King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon. These letters are housed inside the British Museum in London. Oh, I almost forgot to encourage you to keep reading to see what happened when Sennacherib tried to do what he did to Lachish at the holy city of Jerusalem. 2 Chronicles chapter 32 says this: after this, Sennacherib, king of Assyria, sent his servants to Jerusalem while he was besieging Lachish with all his forces with him, against Hezekiah, king of Judah, and against all Judah who were at Jerusalem, saying, thus says Sennacherib, king of Assyria, on what are you trusting that you are remaining in Jerusalem under siege? At this one biblical, archaeological, and historical site called Lachish, we can unleash many references in the book of Joshua, 2 Kings, 2 Chronicles, Nehemiah, Isaiah, Jeremiah, and Micah. I encourage you to take a look at these references with this visit to Lachish in your mind, and let's see what information, inspiration, and maybe even revelation you come up with as a result of our Lachish Unleashed Bible study. Thanks for joining us.